Southern Poverty Law Center has determined solitary confinement is inhumane, ineffective, and wasteful.
We wrote the book, Letters to Our Sons. I have documented research and proof of what happens inside these prisons' walls.
Being in prison alone does something to you. So solitary confinement is almost like a slow death. And it's meant for that. It's meant to do that to you. It's meant to break you.
Picture being in your own home. No window, or the window's up so high you can't see it. There's a door, but you can't open it. There's no other contact with anybody. You're not having nothing in there to read, nothing. You have no idea when you're getting out. Like I said, you know that this is probably almost going to be the end.
And you're in there and you're experiencing people constantly throwing feces and urine and
Solitary confinement harms mental health.
Solitary confinement unit that they would be solitary. That's not the case. Lights are on 24/7. They never turn the lights out. They'll sell lights on, never off. You always hear people screaming, banging on their cell doors, banging on their walls, flushing their toilets, or making some type of sound or some type of noise.
The lights constantly being on is part of a breaking process. It almost drives you crazy to have to lay there under a light all day. And we used to have to sleep. I used to have to take my shirt off and wrap my shirt around my head, around my eyes, to block the lights out. That's the only way you want to get some kind of darkness.
Over the years, my 26 years, I did maybe about 3-4 years in the hole, 3.5. One thing I'll tell you, if you're not a reader and you don't have nothing on your mind, you can go crazy. I have a son that's been in the hole 20 years, solitary confinement. And so we have symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder that nobody talks about.
So people are in boxes with nothing.
You first go into the box, you ain't got nothing. You ain't got a pencil to write. You ain't got nothing. You ain't got a piece of paper to write on. I know you hear the stories where people tell you how they be writing on the toilet tissue and stuff,
But there's something called the chair, like when you start acting out.
Yeah. I experienced that in a few places. One in Maryland actually stripped me of my clothes and strapped me in this damn chair, and they put you in there for a couple hours and tell you if you act right, we'll get you out the chair. So you're in the room, no windows, no nothing, in this little room, strapped down in this chair, and it's just inhumane. It's inhumane.
Solitary confinement harms incarcerated youth.
My name is James Sigler. I just got out of prison March the 1st. I've been locked up since I was 17 years old. I was in school. I was a B student on my way going to college. Got it wrong people, got incarcerated. My first 3 years of being incarcerated, I was doing the lockup. Basically I was confused. I'm away from my family. I'm confused. I don't know what to do. I'm a child. I was thrown in lockup, solitary confinement, where you never go outside. You subject to 2 meals a day for 3.5 years. No visits from my family. I'm only subject to 2 envelopes a month to write to my family. After that, they threw me in a maximum security prison. They took me from there, sent me straight to a maximum security prison, where I had to be around all different type of people. I was writing to my family. I was writing to the judge that sentenced me, to my old lawyer, telling them, someone help me. I barely eat because, nobody, I was locked up after a period of time went by, no contact for the 3 years. People start forgetting about me, I guess you could say. And, I didn't have, funds like that. So I couldn't afford the canteen. I couldn't afford the food that was kind of better than what they were serving. I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford extra envelopes to write people to let them know, hey, I'm back here, I'm suffering.
Solitary confinement does not lead to safer prisons.
They place people who have mental health issues in solitary confinement. They further deteriorate.
Yeah, the lack of human contact with me. I was, like I said, I was only 17 years old. So basically I was still learning, and I was young. I was around a bunch of wild people, so I adapted to my environment.
Long term, just, these people turn into savages. Being in a box 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years with just nothing.
I'm gonna tell you what I feel like. I feel like, okay, like I said, I did it 3 years before I even got released to population, right? So in that 3 years, like, I lost contact with so many people, so many family members, that when I got to the yard, now it's like, okay, I'm thrown out here to survive by myself. 20 years old, been in confinement since I was 17. Barely got contact with the outside world because they made that sure that was possible from the 2 envelopes a month. So now it's like I gotta survive by myself. I mean, it changed me. I was running around, I was free, so I wasn't in that cell locked behind that door, so I was just running around like a chicken with his head cut off. Only thing I hated was when it was lockdown time and I had to go back behind the door. Made me think about being back in that 3-year confinement cell again.
Solitary confinement does not lead to safer communities.
4 to 5 years, all of a sudden he just snapped. I mean, he just went from being a normal person, inmate, to walking around talking to himself, eating grass, forgot about his hygiene. I mean, it was just crazy.
Solitary confinement wastes taxpayer dollars.
We're fighting for our life. This is just a business to some people.
It was an experience that I would say that no one should ever have to be exposed to.
I feel there should be something, done to look into that to help the brothers out that's back there.
Thank you, Mr. Ziegler.
Learn more about how this affects all our communities. Read the book Letters to Our Sons, available on Amazon. Follow the Letters to Our Sons Prison Series.
This is From Within, www.FromWithinSeries.com.